All right, so it's a lazy Sunday afternoon here. It's overcast and it's about to rain all afternoon here. So just something quick and short here to tide you over until the next video, so to speak. It was a relatively easy fix, so I didn't dive too much into it. And I've already repaired this in the past. What this is a Kortek Imperial, Kortek/Imperial KT-1420A. And I featured this before on the channel with some repair work. And this came out of a Dynamo cabinet, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting. A friend called me up and said, "Hey, I've got this monitor. It doesn't work. Can you come take a look?" I went to snag it. I brought it home and I did some repair work. I did a full cap kit reflow. And I think this might have been the one that I found that had the blue wire coming off of the B+ resistor here going into the chassis. It had come out due to a bad solder joint. The solder had cracked and the wire had come out, and we weren't getting any high voltage because the B+ resistor was no longer in circuit. And that was because the wire had come out of the board. I think that was this one. I can't recall. It's not a big deal. But I featured this one previously on the channel and covered the repair on it. But then he phoned me up the other day and said, "Hey, that monitor, the monitor you repaired recently or a little while ago has died again." So I went to pick it up again, and the fuse, the main input AC fuse, you can see I've got some alligator clips on there, and they're over here clipped to a new fuse. This is a 4-amp fuse. I don't have a 4-amp fuse to put in there, the smaller kind. So that fuse was obliterated. So I brought it home, did some testing, couldn't find anything, put a new fuse in there, and I didn't put a new fuse in there. I put one of these in there with the alligator clips, and it promptly got obliterated again. So I did some more probing around, and just went right off of not the socket, it's not a socket, holder, right off the fuse holder. I started just going to the components off the fuse holder. And when I got to the bridge rectifier, I found the problem. So the bridge rectifier had an internal shorted diode. So that's all it was. The fuse was blowing because of the bridge rectifier here that converts the incoming AC to DC, where the B+ had a shorted diode inside of here. So that was, I mean, I had it fixed in about, I don't know, 15 minutes. So it wasn't really a good candidate for a whole featured video for the repair process. So I figured, I think what I'm going to do is I'll just get it repaired, get it fixed, and then show what I did afterward. So yeah, 19-inch Kortek Imperial KT-1420A, bad bridge rectifier. I didn't have another one of these to put in there, so I built my own bridge rectifier, and it fired right up and it works great. So now that you see that it's operational, I'll kind of reverse the process here and take this all apart and show you where that's located, what was wrong, what I did to fix it, and then we can figure out how to jury rig some type of installation here on this fuse, because I don't have any. I think I may have some 3 amps from some donor 7500, 7400, 2005. I may have some donor fuses from those chassis, from some parts boards. Oh wow, there's the rain. Can you guys hear that? It is coming down hard now. Wow. Crazy. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I got distracted there. So I need to figure out some way to either jury rig this in there or find a donor fuse. But yeah, it's already been rebuilt, caps, reflow, everything there is to do. I don't think there's any replacement flybacks available, so hopefully it lasts and doesn't short itself out or start arcing. But it's been fully rebuilt with the exception of the flyback, all the normal things. So it's working. I'm going to take it all apart here, show you where this goes, what I did to repair it, and yeah, so stay tuned. I'll get this apart and we'll check it out. Alright, so here it is off of the tube, separate, ready to show. And the fuse that was blowing was F601. This guy right there. It's a 4-amp rated fuse, and it went kablooey. Put a new one in, went kablooey. Well, like I say, one of these anyway. And the bridge rectifier is this guy right there. It sits right in there, and it looks like this. And that is the cause of the blowing fuse. So if you have this fuse going out, check to make sure your bridge rectifier is not shorted, and here's the way you would do that. So basically this bridge rectifier, there's 4 diodes internal. There's a diode, where's my pointer? There's a diode that goes this way, this way, this way, and this way. And what a bridge rectifier does is it converts AC to DC. So it takes the incoming AC, and you can see that, well, I don't want to show quite yet what I did, but it takes the incoming AC and it goes straight over through this inductor right to the bridge rectifier, and it converts the AC to DC through the B plus filter through to the B plus system. So I don't want to show quite yet what I did, but if we go through here and check on with our meter, the internal diodes here, we can see, I got to figure out which way this goes here. If I was off camera, I'm going to show this here. So if that corner is here, okay, we want, okay, so in the chassis, looking at it from the bottom, it sits in there like this. So if we go across here to here, we should get a diode reading. Oh, you rat bastard. This should be a diode right here. There you go. And this should be a diode this way. No? Maybe it's the other way. There we go. So there's a diode. And I think it's this way is another one that we just did. Yep, there's that one. And if we go to this one here, there we go. So that takes care of this diode and this diode and this diode. But when we go across this diode here, shorted. So we've got this diode's good, this diode's good, this diode's good, this diode in here, shorted. And there you go. So this one's good. This one's good. I guess I have to go the other way. Yeah, switch these leads around. That one's good. This is tough on camera here, sorry. Ugh. I need to get one of those deals that holds these things in place. So that one's good. This one. And then when we go across this one again, shorted. So bad bridge rectifier. Now here is what I did. Just made my own. I just installed 4 diodes here. These are the 1N4007. I think. Can I see? Yeah, I think they're the 1N4007. I got to clean all this up still, but basically, yeah, this is I just installed my own series of diodes, and it works great. So replace the old bridge rectifier with 4 physical actionable diodes, and that's all this is there's just 4 diodes internally here that look just like that, only internal. So yeah, that's all I did. Put 4 actual diodes on there, and you saw it working great. So now all I need to do is get a new fuse, proper fuse installed, and we'll test it again and clean everything up and call it done. So quick and easy repair here today. I actually had a spare one of these that I was able to give as a replacement to my buddy. Got him back up and running again. I think I featured 2 or 3 of these on the channel. I think one of the other ones that I have repaired and featured, I gave him that one. That was a spare I had, and then this is the one that I've already replaced or featured. I can't recall which one this one was. I'm too lazy to go back and look at the videos I made, but I've already featured this one. And for this case, yeah, the fuse was blowing because of a shorted diode in the bridge rectifier. And you can absolutely replace it with just regular 4 regular diodes, and that's all that's in here. And I think what I'll do is I will find a replacement fuse and hook it back up and do some testing and give it an actual image from a real PCB as opposed to the test pattern generator to give it one final test, and then we'll show it in action again one final time. The only real issue is that I can increase and decrease the width by adjusting the coil, but it doesn't go wide enough. Like there's a 1/2 inch black bar on each side of the image, and I can adjust the H coil and it'll shrink and widen the image, but when it gets to a certain point it stops going and it won't go all the way. There's a 1/2 inch black bar on each side. Haven't quite been able to figure that out. I don't know. All of the caps that were changed out were changed out with the ones with the same rating. So it's not an issue of having the wrong cap in the wrong spot or a wrong rating. It could be a B+ issue, but I'm not quite sure how to read the B+ on these chassis. The B+ pot's down in here. I'm not quite sure how to how to test the B+. And even if I did, I'm not sure what it's supposed to read. There's a jumper here for how wide you want the image. If you look here, there's a jumper here that says W. That's for, you just disconnect it. If you want a narrow image, you disconnect it. If you want a wide image, you hook it up. So I'm not quite sure. I may have to change out the width cap, the actual poly cap like this here. I'm not sure. Maybe someone's changed that in the past. Looking at the circuit here, let's see if we can figure it out. Looking at the circuit here, which one do we think the width cap would be? Here's the horizontal circuit. It's tied to C412. It looks like will be our horizontal width cap, because here is C412. It comes right off the horizontal right here. Horizontal. There's two different sets of yoke pins, and instead of having to crack and break your yoke connector to flip your image, you can just hook it up to the opposite connector. So they were nice to include that. But you can see here that we have the H for these two and the H. So these are both sets of these are for horizontal. And if we follow this, it goes right to C14. We may have to change out C14, which is this guy here. This one there. I may do some playing around with that and we'll see. But for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to replace this fuse and we'll test it again, give it an actual PCB signal and see what it looks like. So, okay, hang on for 1 second. When I come back, I'll have all this set up ready to go. Okay, all back on the tube, hooked back up, and it's operating, and I was able to actually steal a 3.15 amp fuse off of a donor 7500, I think it was, I had sitting on the shelf. So it's supposed to be 4 amps, but 3.15 will be just fine as long as there's nothing wrong with the chassis. And as we've discussed before, all that was wrong was that bridge rectifier that was bad. And I've got the replacements installed, as you saw, and after getting it all hooked up and dialed in, it is working and looking fantastic. So yeah, I don't know why all of a sudden when I shoot these videos I got well, that's not, there we go. I was going to say it's the refresh rate on the camera isn't, now see, now it's coming back down again. If I change the angle on the view, well, maybe not. Anyway, it looks great. Beautiful, beautiful picture, beautiful colors, but I still have that gap on this side and the gap on this side. It's shifted over this way very slightly. But if I adjust the horizontal width, this is the widest it gets. If I adjust it at all, it starts getting narrower and narrower, and then to the widest point it possibly gets is this. So it turns out that the width cap is not that one I was thinking, that one right there. It's not that one, it's this one. You can see here that it says, maybe you can't, 434J. It's hard to tell, sorry. Anyway, so that is the width cap, no doubt there. It's the same type of cap and rating that's on the K7000s. So I think I'm going to change that out to a lower rating, like a 0.39 or something, because the lower rating you go, the lower the rating, the wider the image. The higher the rating, the narrower the image. So I'm going to put like a 0.39 in place of that 0.434, and see if that gives me a little bit more width. But as of now, the chassis is repaired, and all that was wrong with it was that shorted bridge rectifier. So let me see if I can change that out. I said I wasn't going to do it in the scope of this video, but it's a nice and short, quick video. So let me change that out, see if I can gain some width here, and see. I may end up having to go to like maybe something like a 0.314 versus a 0.39. I'll try the 0.39 first, see what I get, and if it doesn't really give me what I'm looking for, I'll go a bit lower, and then I'll come back and we'll see how it turned out. Okay, so the 0.434 is out. 0.434. I put a 0.394 in and it made almost absolutely no difference. So then I swapped in a 0.224. It's hard to see, but it's a 0.224. There's cables and stuff and shadows, but it's a 0.224. 220 volt, 0.224. And after that, voila, full screen. And if I adjust the horizontal size here, if we watch the corners, we can see that it shrinks, and we can see that it goes all the way to the edge, both sides. So that successfully has accomplished this 100% revival, or it's, let's see, how do I say that better? It's now revived 100%. We have complete full screen, up and down, left and right, full square image, beautiful colors, fully operational chassis, replacement bridge rectifier set up, installed. And I'll set these aside, add them to my collection. Put the 394 back in and add the 434 in case I have one that's too wide. We can put this in. And yeah, so another successful KT-1420A repair. This, I guess, is repair number 2 for this particular one, since I mentioned I've featured it previously. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to try and give it an actual signal from a real PCB and see what it looks like and get some colors adjusted and things. And then we'll wrap this up. So one moment. Well, scratch that. It's not going to work. My connector here for my standard JAMA is not going to work. It's going to hit that selector switch for the horizontal or composite, positive negative sync, I should say. So no big deal. We'll just, never mind. But we know it's working. We know it's good. I'll do all this later, set colors and stuff, and hook up a JAMA. I'll do all that later off camera. Not a big deal. It doesn't need to be done for this video. So otherwise, yeah, so we'll disregard that, but yeah. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. And again, stay tuned for next time. I got something very interesting for the next, in line for the next video. A very, very dirty and dusty K7000 for the tube and the chassis. So we'll have to do some washing and some cleaning, and then it'll rebuild because it's blowing the fuse. So that'll be fun. So make sure to stay tuned for that once it's uploaded. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when it's ready. And we'll see you next time.